Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting for September 16th, 2024 for the City of Dauphin. We'll call the meeting to order at 5:01. And before we do get started, we'd like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples and homeland of the Métis Nation. And we affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda be amended as follows. We're going to add two things. 11A, Intermountain Watershed District, Manitoba Association of Watersheds Conference. That's going from December 2nd to the 4th. And 11B, number 2, the COP Barbecue happening on September 18th, just a couple days away. Any questions or comments regarding those additions? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Ray and seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts the regular council agenda now as amended. And assuming there's no questions or comments there, we'll call the question. All in favor? None opposed? Carried. Moved by, that's Councillor Daly. Is that your signature there? Sure. Well, sure, we'll go with that. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that Council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, and that is the regular council meeting back on August 19th earlier this year. Any questions, comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Next is the consent agenda. We'll start with item number 5A. That's the action items, outstanding receivable accounts added to taxes under number 1. And be it resolved that the following receivable accounts be added to taxes. 216 Fifth Avenue Northeast, $54.52. That's a fine as per property standards bylaw. $108.39 to 417 Second Avenue Northeast. Same thing, a fine as per property standards bylaw. And 901 Whitmore Avenue East, $872.40 for temporary storage. That all totals up to $1,035.31, and that as recommended by the Director of Finance and the Tax Clerk. Under number 2, this is outstanding water accounts added to taxes. Actually, just one. It's 1005 Dorothy Street. The previous tenant did not pay the final utility bill. That totals up to $465.82, and that is recommended by the Director of Finance and the Utility Clerk. We have a number of proclamations today. I'm going to read one of them. This is the one for National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Whereas the Truth and Reconciliation Commission released its final report on June 2nd, 2015, which included 94 calls to action to redress the legacy of residential schools and to provide a framework for all levels of government to repair the painful legacy of our colonial history and to move forward with reconciliation. And whereas unmarked graves at residential schools in Manitoba and across the country have raised awareness about the truth of residential schools and the need to honor survivors and remember the children who did not make it home. And whereas in response to recommendation number 80 of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the federal government, in collaboration with Indigenous peoples, has proclaimed September 30th to be a federal statutory holiday to be recognized as National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And whereas the City of Dauphin recognizes that public remembrance of the history of residential schools is a vital component of the reconciliation process. And whereas the City of Dauphin and its employees will be observing the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, previously known as Orange Shirt Day, on September 30th, 2024, to provide time to reflect on the legacy of the residential school system and its impact on Indigenous communities. And now therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim September 30th, 2024 as National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. I did mention there were a number of other proclamations as well. You can see them in the lobby here at City Hall. They are Rail Safety Week, the Police and Peace Officers National Memorial Day, the International Day of Older Persons, and Fire Prevention Week, which I know our Fire Chief Cam Mabry is very excited for, and he'll be a part of the Dauphin Kings Fire Prevention Game happening on October the 12th. So be it resolved that Council proclaims all those proclamations. And lastly, under this would be A, filing items, just a few items here. Number one, Growing Manitoba Ag, the newsletter for September 2024. Number two is Prairie Mountain Health's Health Plus newsletter for September. Community Futures Parkland Incorporated's newsletter for September. And the Manitoba Government Services Canada Community Building Fund, CCBF. And that is recommended by the mayor and the city managers. So be it resolved that all items listed under and read item 5 consent agenda be approved and form part of these minutes. That's moved by Councillor Bellemare and seconded by Councillor Sobering. Any questions or comments? Call those. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare. Seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for September 16th, 2024's regular Council meeting, and that is the report for the City Manager for August. Take it away, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. So for the month of August, I was at work for most of the time, but I did have a week off at the end, and that was nice to have some time away with family. However, for August, it was, I think, just as busy, if not a little busier than average. Recreation did take up a lot, recreation discussions and planning. I did dedicate quite a bit of time to that. We are progressing with our childcare center project, and things have, I think, been progressing okay. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but one of the things that we did see that actually was sped up a bit was the 60% construction drawings. We anticipated to see them in September, and we got to see them on August 20th. So we've provided comments back on that, and so we are getting closer and closer to the construction of the construction tender being let out, so that is great. We did have a quarterly airport board meeting, and that was because it was during the week of the summer games, and usually we have them at in our council chambers here, but we had it out at the airport, and it was great. We've had a few meetings out at the airport before in the summer, especially the summer meeting, and everybody agreed that it was nice to be able to be out there. Puts us a little more, boots on the ground to see the things that we're talking about, and actually the facilities, and we get a little bit oriented of, what area of the airport we might be talking about. So it was good to be out there, and I think that we'll keep having at least one meeting out there in the summer. Another thing that started was our startup meeting for a zoning bylaw review. So two very important planning documents for any municipality is the development plan and the zoning bylaw. So the city did a new development plan. We're calling it the city plan, and that was approved earlier in 2024. It makes sense now that the next thing to do is work on the zoning bylaw update, and so that project was scoped out and put out for a request for proposals, and the successful consultant was Urban Systems, and we had our first startup meeting at the end of August, so that was August 28th, and it was a meet the team meeting, and to talk about some of the high level things that we want to see out of the review, and to start funneling information to the consultants. They had already taken a good look at our current zoning bylaw, but they wanted to know, what notes, since that bylaw came into effect in 2015, what are some of the things that we don't like about it, or things that we want to upgrade, or things that we want to include in it. So we talked about that. Towards the end of September, Urban Systems will be here in Dauphin for a couple days, and they're going to be meeting with staff. I do know that there's going to be a component where they meet with council, and from those returning council members, Urban Systems did our development plan as well, and they were in our community for a week, and they did some community consultations and met with council, met with staff. It's going to look a little different. There will be community consultations, but that'll be later in the process. But they definitely want to talk to staff, and they'll have some questions for council as well, just to get the information to get going on the right direction. Also, our development plan is a different format than the previous one, and so we want to make sure that our zoning bylaw matches the development plan or the city plan in terms of the concepts in the areas, and make sure that the zoning bylaw supports the policies that were identified in there. And last, I did want to put another shout out to the Manitoba Summer Games, and on maybe more on a personal note, it was one of the first projects that I started as city manager, and to think that it's kind of 6 years in the making, and truthfully, it's not like the city had hands on, or not like I had hands on, work on it for 6 years, but it's just been something that has been always it's like it was always there, it was always upcoming for 6 years, so it was great to actually see the games happen. And in my report I linked a small video done by Grow Media, and put in a few pictures. So I want to say thank you for some great leadership in Clayton Swanton and Carla Wolfenden as co-chairs of the host committee, but I think equally the volunteers were amazing, and our community looked great and really supported all of those events, not just the actual sports, but the people and the after parties, and our community was a buzz for that week, and it was great. And that concludes my report.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Any questions on the city manager's report? Councillor Bellemare.
It's actually a question about the video. So where will that video be available? Because I'm glad you sent it, and I showed it to a lot of people, and I'm from out of the town. And I mean, it's exciting for the summary of the games, but it's also exciting for what it shows about the facilities that we have within our community. It speaks a lot to our community. So, I don't want it to disappear on Facebook or whatever. So how will it be promoted in the future?
So that video was commissioned by the Manitoba Summer Games, not specifically the city of Dauphin. So let me look into it to see who has rights to it, and if we can, get an actual copy, so it's not just a link to Facebook, because things do come and go from there. And I think that would be a great video to make sure that we have a copy of it in the future. Just like from the 2004 games, and the song that we found that played a lot during the closing ceremonies. Yeah, let's try to get a copy of that. Good point.
Any other questions or comments on the report? Seeing none, we'll call the questions. All in favor? And carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following corporate report for tonight's regular council meeting. This is the Deputy City Manager's report for August. Any questions or comments regarding this? Lisa, did you want to make any comments or?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Loughlin. I think it's just worthwhile noting that I was successful in my application to Health Canada for $45,000 over a 3-year period to roll out a radon action plan for Dauphin. So I will kick off this project by working on a campaign for Radon Awareness Month in November, and that will include another 100 free radon test kit challenge to provide residents with free AlphaTrack test kits. So residents can keep an eye out for further information as I roll out this campaign in the coming weeks.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to getting in on that one. I didn't get in on the last one. Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, further on those 100 kits, because I had a person in an apartment building reach out to me and ask about that. So obviously they could get one of those kits, and then if their radon levels are high, like are there any implications for owners of apartment buildings if the radon were to prove high in that person's apartment?
Well, part of the Radon Action Plan is actually to develop policy to guide, I think, Manitobans in these kinds of situations. So if their radon levels are high, they would have to work with their landlord. But that would have to be through the tenancies branch, Manitoba Tenancies Branch, if they're not bringing things up to a safe standard for their tenants. But that is certainly something that we will be considering as we roll out this program. I'll be doing some more research into that because I really think that there will be tenants who have these concerns.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? None. Call the question then. All in favor? None opposed. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved, the council accepts as information the following corporate report for tonight's regular council meeting. This one of the ICT manager for August. Any questions or things to mention there? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that the finance accounts, having been examined by council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. Check totals, this one ranging from 33610 to 33777, 168 checks totaling $2,028,823.28. There were for voided checks in the current range, there were none. There were no voided checks in past ranges. For electronic payments in August, there were 5 of them, $220,392.42. Any questions or comments regarding those numbers? Seeing none, call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Welcome to Councillor Stakilo joining the meeting, fresh off his 50-50 win at the Dauphin Kings game on Saturday. Congratulations for that. We'll continue on. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements before PSAB adjustments for the periods ending February, March, April, and May of 2024. This includes number 1, the general fund balance sheet and income statement, and number 2, the utility fund balance sheet and income statement. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call a question. All in favor? None opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the reserve reports for the periods ending February, March, April, and May of this year. Any questions or comments there on those reserve reports? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following engineering staff report for tonight's regular council meeting. This is the building inspector report for August. Any questions or comments here? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Unopposed, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services reports for tonight's regular council meeting. This one, the bylaw enforcement officer. These are for the months of July and August of this year. Any questions or comments regarding those two reports? Seeing none, we'll call a question. All in favor? None opposed. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for tonight's regular council meeting. This is the Animal Services Officer report for August. Any questions or comments here? Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. It's actually kind of related to animal services, not the report itself. So there have been people taking advantage of the SNAP program because that's showing up in the financial reports that Scott is giving us. So that's great to see. So what are your thoughts, Lisa, on where we are in the uptake of this program? Because I think there's maybe like 4 or so far.
Actually, so I uploaded an updated report today for Animal Services because when the ASO submitted his to me, he leans on me to put in the figure for the SNAP vouchers, and we did issue 7 SNAP vouchers in August. So I think we had 9 maybe in July and 7 in August. So that is not bad. There's still funds remaining, but I haven't really tallied up or done the math to see how much is left. But I think we're on track. If we can continue at this rate, I think we're on track to use up the funds.
Good to hear. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the minutes and reports from the following committee. This is for Fort Dauphin Museum. They had a regular board meeting on June the 5th. Manager's report from July 5th. The regular board meeting on August 7th, and the manager's report for August 7th as well. Any questions regarding those? Seeing none, call the questions. All in favor? Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Stikilo. Whereas the Manitoba Municipal Act requires municipalities to submit a council resolution appointing an auditor to the Minister of Municipal Relations by October 10th each year, be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memorandum dated September 12th, 2024 from the Director of Finance, noting that MMP has provided very effective auditing services for the City of Dauphin for the past 10 years and has submitted a quote for $17,000 plus applicable taxes to complete the city's 2024 audit, and advising that administration recommends that this proposal be approved. Further be it resolved that Council agrees with the administration's recommendation and authorizes the appointment of MNP as the City of Dauphin's auditor for 2024 for the quoted amount of $17,000 plus applicable taxes. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stikilo, seconded by Councillor Ray, whereas according to the City of Dauphin travel and expense policy, all out-of-province travel must receive prior approval by Council. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memorandum dated August 29th, 2024 from the Fire Chief requesting permission to attend 2 out-of-province events. The Canadian Fallen Firefighters Memorial from September 6th to the 8th, 2024 in Ottawa, and the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs Annual Conference. That's going from September 19th to the 26th, 2024 in Montreal. And further be it resolved that Council approves these out-of-province travel requests and authorizes all costs to be borne by the City of Dauphin. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Unopposed, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following invitation. This one is for the Intermountain Watershed District's Manitoba Association of Watersheds Conference, and that's going on December 2nd to the 4th later this year. Further be it resolved that all expenses related to Council and senior management attending this event be borne by the City of Dauphin. Assuming no questions or comments on that one, so we'll call the question. All in favor? None opposed. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Stikilo. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following community events. Curbside giveaway weekends coming up September 21st and 22nd, 2024. Janelle says this is the most anticipated one in a long time. People are calling the city, wondering when it is and what's going on. So September 21st and 22nd, that's coming up. Looking forward to it. And the other one, Citizens on Patrol Community Barbecue, September 18th, 2024. I know the Dauphin Herald loves to attend community barbecues. We'll send Sean or Doug out there and take it in. So that's September 28th or 18th, excuse me, for the COP Community Barbecue. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? None opposed. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the Councillor's report for the regular Council meeting of September 16th, 2024. The Mayor always likes to start to his right. I will start to my left because I'm left-handed. So I will go with Councillor Sobering.
I thought you were a left-leaning mayor, but that's okay. I don't have too much to report. I feel like the two committees that I'm more active on have settled into a regular routine. So the cemetery, Riverside Cemetery Committee is now meeting regularly once a month. The only points of interest there is we have a design plan in the works with Scatliff Miller Murray for a new columbarium. And so looking forward to seeing a presentation on that. And the second one is the Dauphin District Candy Van. Things are running smoothly there. There was a busy summer, and it continues to operate and is being managed well. I did attend on September the 6th. The Indigenous Tourism Summit was held in Wasagaming at Danceland. And then they had a tour group that brought them to Northgate, where the group was treated to a presentation by Alex Mann, and they discussed some of the opportunities that the Northgate could benefit from by expanding some of the trail network that's in the north side of the park from the Edwards Creek Trail and Crawford. And just want to note, Alex Mann is probably one of the best trail designers in Canada. He's been recognized for many of his projects he's worked on. And we have him living here in Dauphin. And him and his partner, Mel Stefanu, just opened a brand new business, Back in Blacks. So that's very noteworthy, and it's a positive sign that we continue to grow economically and using active living as one of the pillars. And I was just encouraged by the group that was out there. I know there's been a lot of meetings and a lot of pushing and begging and trying to work collaboratively to get something going there. And one of the statements that Alex made is that between national parks like Banff and the Maritimes, there is no major mountain bike facility anywhere close, and we have that potential to become that premier destination. And I was very encouraged by that. And other than that, that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Sobering. Councillor Stikilo.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. For myself, I was just looking back in my notes, and the last meeting that I attended was the regular council meeting on August 19th. As Councillor Sobering was mentioning, a couple of the committees that I'm on that are active there are not I haven't had too many meetings, and I'll take that because I know September hits and into fall, and things kind of get back into the swing of things. So be anticipating that, but doesn't mean to say that I haven't been busy attending community functions and events and some of the local businesses here throughout the fall and the back to school sort of time. So it's nice to see that the city is still active and vibrant, and things are happening, and there's some upcoming events like Culture Days coming up, and we'll get into some of the sports at the Cup, some of the winter sports. So looking forward to that. But yeah, that ends my report for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stikilo. Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. Interesting hearing what's happening with other people's committees, because we're on the, Councillor Ray and I are on the Community Safety and Wellbeing Committee, and we've had 3 meetings, plus we've had a couple of times when we've handed out QR codes, because we're trying to get more people from particular demographics to fill out the safety and well-being survey, with the deadline being at the end of the month. So we've been handing those out. Cemetery board meeting and a cemetery HR meeting, and planning and priorities meeting on the 26th, and community in bloom meeting. One of the initiatives there that door knockers are being handed out to homes around our community that have a very good curbside appeal. So people have been working hard all summer in order to maintain their yards, and we just want them to know that we appreciate the efforts that they have taken. And something of note in our community, we have a business called Ukrainian Smack. It's a new food business that's located in the space just inside the pool entrance stores on First Southeast. And they cook up amazing Ukrainian food at a good price, and it's ready in 20 minutes. And apparently they're doing really well. Lots of people are coming there, and mainly takeout, unless you want to sit in the lobby area. That's certainly possible. So 11 to 3 on weekdays, And I'd just like to thank our Economic Development Officer, Martine, because he gives us reports and he's got lots of files happening and he seems to be doing well at moving them all forward. So I just wanted to give him a shout out, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Yes, August 19th, I attended the last regular council meeting. On the 20th, I was present at City Hall for the special rec meeting. On the 22nd, as Councillor Bellemare mentioned, I had a CSWB advisory teams meeting. I attended the planning and priorities meeting here at City Hall on August 26th. 27th, as she mentioned, we were present at the DR, as well as we attended the Recreation and Leisure event at the Cup to try and drum up a few more entries into our youth survey. And on the 28th, I was part of the Community of Practice CSWB Zoom meeting. September 3rd was our projects team meeting with CCFSC in the afternoon, and that evening was when we were at the Cup. September 5th was our CSWV Advisory Committee meeting, and this afternoon we met again with the project teams meeting with the CCFSC. Just a reminder, I'd just like to mention that this Saturday is the Dauphin Kings home opener, so come out and support the Kings. And from 5:30 to 7 is the tailgate party sponsored by ACC. And I know that they put a advertisement out today or an email offering free tickets. If you go down to ACC, you can pick up a free ticket for the game while supplies last. So hopefully Kings open up with a win this weekend. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. And finally, Councillor Daly.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I attended the last regular council meeting was August 19th. August 21st, Protective Services meeting. August 26th with Planning and Priorities. I also sat in the MMF Community Advisory Board meeting on September 9th, which they mentioned again for your community safety and well-being survey. They promoted that again for people to fill that out. And as a new member of the Assiniboine College Board of Directors, I also want to mention that the King's home opener this Saturday, and to come and check out what AC has to offer in programming and information. I also want to do a shout out to the development at Mumaway Park. The trail or the path all the way around the grounds is completed and getting very well used. And now they have the path up and through the hill, which is very cool to kind of watch being developed. So it's looking good and people are very excited. I'm at the dog park twice a day, so I get to interact with a lot of different people. And most of the feedback is highly positive for not just the park and what's happening on the grounds over there, but generally in the city. Development and there's kind of a general excitement, and I would say feedback I'm getting is 95% positive. You always have the odd naysayer, but that just goes without saying. So anyway, it's all looking good, very impressive. All of our staff all over the city and everywhere is doing a fabulous job in my opinion. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. So with that being said, we'll call the question on all the councillor reports. And all those in favor of accepting, of course, motion carried. And moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that the council meeting be recessed at 5:35. Thank you very much for watching this evening, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.